Good evening, guys. In the last session, we started our discussion related to association mapping in our entity classes. So to represent the normalization in the database tables, we are going to use relationships. When the database tables are having a relationship, that relationship we need to represent in our entity classes also. For that, we are going to use these annotations to represent the relationship. What type of relationships that we are going to represent? One-to-one relation we can represent, one-to-many relation we can represent, many-to-one relation we can represent, and many-to-many relation also we can represent. One-to-one relation means one record in one table will have a reference with the another record in the another table. One person will have a one passport. That is the example for one-to-one relation. One-to-many, in the last session we have seen one employee record can have multiple address record. Employee data will be in the employee table, address data will be in the address table. How we can differentiate which addresses belongs to which employee? So that's where foreign key comes into picture. Employee table, employee ID will be inserted into address table as a foreign key. Using that foreign key, we can represent one-to-many relation. Similarly, we will have many-to-one. So here, if you look from the employee table, that is employee to address is one-to-many. If you look from address to employee, it is many-to-one relation. Similarly, many-to-many relation will be available. Multiple users are having multiple roles. Multiple books are having multiple stories. Like that, we can represent many-to-many relation also. In the last session, we have seen the relation between address and employee. That we can say one-to-many, many-to-one. If you see here, employee is available, having ID, name, and salary. Employee having a relation with address. One employee can have multiple addresses. That's why we are using list of address. If you go to address entity class, address will represent employee. One address, this belongs to one employee. So from employee table, it is one-to-many. From address table, it is many-to-one. In the address table, employee ID will be available as a foreign key. So to represent this foreign key, we are using @join column. To represent a foreign key, we are using @join column, and we are able to insert the record. When we are working with these relations, we need to understand what is a cascade and what is a fetch type. Cascade will represent which operations that I am performing on the parent should reflect on the child records also. If I delete parent, then my child also should be deleted. When I delete parent, my child also should be deleted. For that, we are going to use cascade. And we have fetch type. Fetch type will represent when we need to retrieve the child records. When we retrieve the parent, do you want to retrieve the childs or not? That it depends upon fetch type. The default fetch type is eager. That means only it will retrieve parent record, but not the child records. Now I want to represent one-to-one relation, guys. Let me go for one-to-one application here. Nothing is available, just one empty class is created. No repositories, no entities. A dummy project is available. In this project, we have added the dependencies. Okay, data JPA dependency available, MySQL connector dependency available, and data source properties are also configured as a YML. If you see in the application.yml, data source properties are also configured. Now let me create entity classes. I want to represent one-to-one relation. To represent one-to-one relation, I'm taking person and passport. New class. I'm taking one entity class name as person. One person will have one passport. One person will have one passport. Now first, person will have a person ID, private integer, person ID, private string, person name. Okay, private string, person name, and I can take private string, person gender. So to represent this class as an entity, I'm using @entity annotation. Person ID is a primary key. I will use @ID annotation. And we will be using generated value to generate the value for this primary key. Okay. So generated value strategy we can specify as identity, that is MySQL database, it will use auto increment. Okay, person is available. Similarly, let's go for passport. Let me represent passport as one entity. For the passport ID will be available private integer passport ID. Passport ID I want to represent as a primary key, and I want to generate the value based on the strategy. Strategy is equal to identity strategy. Passport ID, and here private string passport number will be available. Private local data, issued data, and which date password is issued, private local data, expiry date. So passport will have 10 years of expiry. Okay. So here I'm taking a class called person. Here I'm taking a class called passport. Guys, as of now, is there any relation between the person class and the passport class? As of now, is there any relation between the person class and passport class? There is no relation between person class and passport class. I want to represent one-to-one relation between the person and the passport. I want to represent one-to-one relation between person and passport. One person will have one passport. One-to-one relation. I want to represent one-to-one relation between the person and passport. Okay. So now person data will be available in the person table. Passport data will be available in the passport table. Passport table should have the reference of the person. Now, for that, how we are going to represent the relation? How we are going to represent the relation? All right. Now here, if you observe how we are going to represent the relation between the person and passport. So here, person will have a passport, private passport. I'm going to specify @121. Person will have a relation with the passport. Cascade is equal to cascade type of all. Fetch is equal to, that is by default, lazy. If you want to eager, you need to set it manually. If you want to eager, you need to set it manually. And I'm going to specify mapped by is equal to person. So how it is going to map with that person? Mapped by person. So like this, I'm going to specify person is related with the passport with one-to-one. This passport is mapped to person. Person is mapped to passport. Now go to passport here. I'm going to specify private person. What is the relation? Here also one-to-one relation is available. For one-to-one, you need to specify join column. Join column name is equal to person ID will be available as a foreign key in the passport table. This passport belongs to which one? Which person? That we need to specify by using join column. If you look at the person is having a relation with the passport. If you look at the passport is having a relation with the person, right? Person is having a relation with the passport and person mapped by person. Here, person ID we are using as a join column in the passport table. Join column means it is a foreign key in the passport table. Person ID will be used as a foreign key in the passport table so that we can understand which passport is belongs to which person. Got it? Let us generate setters getters for this. Select all, click on generate. I'm generating setters getters to set the data. Here also I'm generating setters getters to generate the data. Select all. Okay. So are you guys able to understand the relation between the person and passport? Person 1-to-1 with passport, passport 1-to-1 with the person. Join column will represent foreign key. Person table primary key will be available as a foreign key in the passport table. Now, let me create repositories for this. Let me create a interface. I can use a different package called repository. Here I'm using this as a person repository. Extends from JPA repository. Here, JPA repository, it is for person entity, and ID, it is a integer type. Similarly, let's go for passport repository, new interface, passport repository. This passport repository also extends from JPA repository. So this is passport and this is a integer. All right. Person repository is available and here passport repository is available. Let us go to our start class and let us try to insert the data. Already we have the context object. Context dot get bean of person repo dot class. Person repository dot class. Similarly, we can get that this is person repo. Similarly, we can get passport repository, which is passport repo is equal to context dot get bean of passport repository dot class. Okay, so one is person repository, another one is a passport repository. There is a 1-to-1 relation. Let me create the object for person. Person P is equal to new person. Person P is equal to new person. Okay. Now P dot set person name. Let me set the name as my value. P dot set gender. I'm setting the person gender also. Name and gender. P dot set passport is there. Set ID. ID will be auto generated. Name and gender I'm setting. Next, let's go for passport. Passport P is equal to new passport. Okay, I'm creating the object for passport entity class. Let's set the value for this. Passport dot set passport number. It is a alphanumeric value. So this is something like my passport number. And passport dot set issued date. So I can give as local date dot now. So today's date I'm issuing as a issued date. Local date dot now. Import the package. Okay. Next one, expiry date. 10 years will be available. Local date dot now plus years. 10 years from now, it will be the expiry date of the password. Set expiry date. Set issued date and set expiry date we are having. Person object we have created. We are setting the data to the person. Passport object we are creating. We are setting the data to the passport. Now P dot set passport. We need to set the passport object and passport dot set person P object because 1-to-1 relation. Passport is having a person reference. Person is having a passport reference. So we are setting that data. All right, guys. So person dot set passport object. If you see the person class, passport reference is available. 1-to-1 relation. If you see passport, it is having a reference of the person. So what I'm doing, P dot set passport and passport dot set person, I'm setting the data. Now let me go for person repo dot save of person object. I'm trying to save the person. Now tell me, when I save the person, person will be saved, person and passport also will be saved in the database. Guys, I'm saving the person. When I save the person, only person will be saved or passport also will be saved. Can you guess and tell me? Only person will be saved or passport also will be saved. Use SBMS 27. That is my database. Run this. Show tables. Okay. Tables are available. Address employee tables are available. Passport person tables are not available. They will be created. Now when I insert this record, is it going to show person and passport or only passport? Look at the person. Look at the person. This is my person table entity. Observe this. Observe this. And this is my passport. Observe this. This is my passport. Observe this. This is a person having a reference with passport. This is a passport having a reference with person. Now here I'm creating person object and I'm setting data. I'm creating passport object. I'm setting the data. Passport is having a reference of a person. Person is having a reference of the passport. P dot set passport. Person dot set passport. Here simply I can say this is a person object. Person dot set person name. Person dot set person gender. Person dot set passport. Passport dot set person of person. Person having a reference of the passport. Passport having a reference of the person. So it is 1-to-1. So in the database, the tables are not available. First time we are taking this example. So let us try to insert person object by using person repository.save of a person. Person having a reference of the passport. Let us see what will happen. Run as Spring Boot application. See the console. Yeah. So is it inserting only person record or it is inserting the passport record also? Here you see, first it created a passport table, then it created a person table, then it added the foreign key constraint to the passport table. Now select star from person. Select star from person. So if you see person ID, person gender, person name is available in person table. Person ID, person gender, person name is available. Now, if you go for select a star from passport. If you go for this one, now can you see passport data is available? So here today I have issued the passport 221. After 10 years passport will expire, that is 2033. This is my passport number. This passport belongs to person 1. Okay, so can we say that there is a foreign key relation? Guys, can we say that there is a foreign key relation between the person and passport? Yes, person ID inserted into the passport table so that we can understand this passport number belongs to which person. How person ID inserted into passport table? Because of the join column. Now in the passport we mentioned join column as a person ID. So because of this join column, the person ID variable, person ID column of the person table inserted into passport table as a foreign key. All right. Now here guys, I'm going to comment this logic. Now I am going to retrieve person record, person repo dot get by ID. person ID get by ID. So when I use person dot find by ID, not get by ID, person repo dot find by ID, I'm using 1. So I am trying to retrieve person record. Person record. So is it going to retrieve only person record, or it is going to retrieve person record plus passport record? I'm showing you person record once again. Entity. This is my person entity. Now I am trying to retrieve. I'm trying to retrieve only person record by using person repository. Will it retrieve only person record? It will retrieve person plus passport record. What is the default fetch type? Yeah, let's try this. Run as boot application. See the console. I'm trying to retrieve person record. Select a person record. Passport record. Expiry date. Issue date. Issue date. From person. Left outer join. Passport. From where person ID is available. So now when we go for one-to-one relation, one record will have a relationship with only one record. It is retrieving both the person record as well as passport record also. Is it retrieving only person record, or it is retrieving person record plus passport record? It is retrieving person record plus passport record because of one-to-one. Even though we don't specify fetch type, by default it is retrieving both records. Okay. Are you guys getting my point? When you go for one-to-many, one record may have multiple records of the childs. So to improve performance, that will work with the lazy loading. But when you go for this one-to-one, by default, along with the person, this passport also coming because it is just a one-to-one. So when you go for one-to-many, that lazy loading, eager loading makes the difference. But when you go for one-to-one, it does not make any difference. It does not make any difference because one record will have the reference with only one record. So getting one plus one record does not have any problem. But when you go for one-to-many, one parent record may have 1,000 childs. Retrieving all the 1,000 childs doesn't make any sense. Unnecessarily, we are increasing the load. So that's why when you go for that one-to-many relationship, it is using lazy loading. But when you go for one-to-many, one plus one record only we are going to get. That's why it is retrieving both records at a time. It is retrieving both records at a time. Are you clear? Are you guys clear with my point? Yeah. Next one. I want to delete the person record. Person repo dot delete by ID. Okay. I'm trying to delete a person record by using ID. So will it delete only person record? It will delete person plus passport records. I'm deleting a person record by using ID. Person is having a reference with the passport. So when I'm deleting a person record, it will delete only person record, or it will delete person plus passport. It will delete only person record, or it will delete person plus passport. Person plus passport, both will be deleted. Let's try this. I'm using person repository dot delete by ID. Run as boot application. Run as boot application. What happened, guys? Only person is deleted or passport also deleted? Cascade all. Whenever you perform operation on the parent, that operation will be reflected on the child also. When you perform operation on the parent, that operation will be reflected on the child also. Are you clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Come on. Yes, it deleted person record as well as passport record also because of when we are deleting a parent record, that operation will be reflected on the child records also. So this is representing one-to-one relation. It is representing one-to-one relation. So here you need to write the setters and getters. For that, I am using @data annotation. I'm using @data annotation to represent the setters and getters. One is a person and another one is passport. I'm not giving the setters and getters in the notes, guys. Simply I'm keeping @data. That means Lombok setters and getters will be available. And along with this, I'm giving the start class also, which I am using to insert the data and retrieve the data and delete the data. Here I have commented. When you are testing, you can uncomment and you can test that functionality and you can understand when the parent record is inserting, when the child record is inserting, when we are retrieving the parent record, along with the parent child records are coming or not. When we delete the parent record, what is happening to the child record, that we can do that. Clear, guys? Next one is many-to-many relationship available. Another relationship that we can see here is many-to-many relationship. So what is the meaning of many-to-many? Can you tell me what is the meaning of many-to-many? Guys, this many-to-many, I will explain the concept. I want you people to try this as a assignment. I will explain the concept. I want you people to try this as a assignment. Can you guys do that? Can you guys do that many-to-many as a assignment? We understood what is one-to-one, what is one-to-many, what is many-to-one. So I want you people to try this many-to-many relationship. So here, let me give examples of many-to-many relationship. Okay, multiple authors will write, multiple authors will publish multiple, okay, multiple books are having multiple lessons. Multiple books are having multiple lessons. In our application, multiple users are having multiple roles. So these are the scenarios to go for many-to-many relation. Multiple authors will publish multiple books. Multiple books are having multiple lessons. Multiple users are having multiple roles. So how we need to represent this many-to-many relationship? Let me show you. Guys, but this is a rare scenario in the project. Many-to-many is very, very rare scenario in the project. So mostly people will go with one-to-one, one-to-many. Okay. Many-to-many relationship is a rare scenario. Multiple authors will publish multiple books. So if you see one author, multiple books. Second author, multiple books. This also subcategory comes into one-to-many. How it will be representing, how we are going to represent many-to-many relation. Let's assume that in our table, in our database, user details table is available. It is having user ID and username. In our project, we are having a table called user details table. User details table is having user ID and username. Okay. So here user ID, let's assume that user ID is 1 and the username is some Raju. And user ID 2 available, username Rani is available. User ID 3 is available, some Ashok is available. Okay. So like this, we are having user details table in our project. User details table is available in our project. Okay. So user details table contains user data, user ID available and user name is available. Assume that this is my user details table data. So these are the two columns I'm taking. So you can take multiple columns also, but I'm taking two columns. One is user ID and another one is user name. So one belongs to Raju, 2 belongs to Rani, 3 belongs to Ashok. Okay. Now Here we are having roles table. That is user roles table is available. User roles table will contain roles of our application. Application having multiple roles. So what are the roles available? Role ID and role name is available. User roles table contains role ID and role name. So what are the roles available here? Role ID 1 is available. Role name is manager. Okay. Role ID 2 is available. 2 is available. This is a admin role. Okay. Role ID 3 is available. It is a normal user role. So there are 3 types of roles available in our application. One is a manager role, second one is a admin role, third one is a user role. So there is a table called user roles table. There is a table called user roles table. User details table is available. User roles table is available. User details table contains user ID and username. User roles table contains role ID and role name. Role ID and role name. Are you guys clear with my point? As of now, is there any relation between these tables? As of now, is there any relation between these tables? One is user details table and another one is user roles table. One is user details table, another one is user roles table. Now, I want to represent the relation. To represent the relation, we are going to use another table that is called user roles. Which user is having which roles, that will be represented by using user roles table. To represent that relation, here we will be having 2 columns. One is user ID, another one is role ID. Here, user ID is a foreign key, role ID is also a foreign key. User ID is a foreign key, role ID is also a foreign key. Okay. Now here, coming to the data representation, user ID 1, that means the first user, Raju. Raju is having manager role. Okay. Now here, similarly, Raju is having admin role also. Admin role also. Now Rani is having normal user role. Ashok is having all the 3 roles. 3 user ID having manager role. User 3 is having admin role. Manager 3 is having normal user role also. So now can I say multiple users are having multiple roles here? Can I say multiple users are having multiple roles here? That is called many-to-many relation. Multiple users are having multiple roles here. That is called many-to-many relation. User ID, it is a primary key in the user details table. User ID is a primary key in the user details table. Role ID is a primary key in the user roles table. Okay, guys. So here, user ID from the user table, role ID from the role table are acting as foreign keys in the user roles table. User ID acting as a foreign key in the user roles table. Role ID is acting as a foreign key in the user roles table. So can I say the relation is many-to-many relation? Can I say the relation is many-to-many relation? Multiple users are having multiple roles. Multiple users are having multiple roles. If you see user 1, first user ID 1 representing Raju. Raju having first role and third role. That means Raju is a manager and Raju is a normal user also. Rani, user ID 2 is Rani. Rani is having only user role. Ashok, user ID 3. User ID 3 is having 1, 2, 3 roles. All the roles available for Ashok in the project. All the roles available for the Ashok in the project. So this relation is called as many-to-many relation. So 1-to-1, 1-to-many, many-to-1 can be done by using two tables. Whereas when you go for many to many to represent the relation, third table is required. That is called user roles table. User details available in one table, roles details available in one table. Okay. So here user details, this one I cannot call user roles. This one I am going to call as role details. One table is user details, another table is role details. One table is user details, another table is role details. User details roles tables, the relationship is available in the user roles table. In the user roles table, user ID available, role ID available. User ID is a foreign key, role ID is also a foreign key in the user roles table. Are you clear? Try to understand the table structure first. So to implement many to many, first we need to understand table structure. Are you guys able to understand the table structure now? Are you able to understand the table structure now? So if you want to go with many to many relation, if you want to go with many to many relation, then third table is mandatory. If you want to go with many to many relation, third table is mandatory. Without third table, we can't do this. Without third table, we cannot do this. Are you able to understand? Are you able to understand the table structure? User details, role details, and user roles. Can you guys try this work? Can you guys try to implement this requirement? Can you guys try to implement this requirement with the annotation association mapping? So I have shown you one to many, many to one, one to one. I want you to try with many to many association mapping in the entity classes. I'm giving the clue. When you go for many to many, entity classes will be only two, but tables will be three. Entity classes will be only two, but tables will be three. That is the clue I'm giving. Is that fine? Only two entities will be available, but the tables will be three in the database. So with this clue, I want you people to try association mapping for this given requirement. Okay, fine guys. So I want you people to try this many to many relationship example. So as I told you, multiple users will have multiple roles. Multiple users will have multiple roles. Okay. Users table will contain user details. Role table will contain role details. User roles table will contain the relation between the users and roles. Okay. Perfect. Can you guys take this a screenshot? I want you to try this. Can you guys take this as a screenshot? Perfect, guys. So with this, we completed our discussion related to Spring Data JPA, guys. So whatever that I have committed in the document related to Spring Data JPA, that we have completed. Okay. Embedded database connection is there. Embedded database connection, I'm going to explain in the web MVC. Embedded database connection I'm going to explain in the web MVC. How to work with the H2DB, which is a embedded database. So association mapping. So in the association mapping, guys, 1-to-1 mapping is we have done person to passport and one to many, one employee, multiple addresses. If you see from address table, that is called as many to one, many to one. And third one is many, fourth one is many to many. I explained the scenario. I have given the table structure. I have given the clue. With that clue, I want you people to try many to many. If you are not able to do, let me know. I am going to explain that part as well. So with this, we are done with our Spring Data JPA concept. Okay. So as of now, what we have covered? We have covered Spring Core. What is the Spring Core? What is IOC container? What is the dependency injection? What is the setter injection? What is constructor injection? What is bean lifecycle? What is bean scope? What is dependency injection? Okay. What is component scanning? That concept we understood. Then we discussed about Spring Boot, how to develop a standalone application by using Spring Boot. What are the advantages of the Spring Boot? How to develop Spring Boot applications, component scanning, auto configuration, run method, runners, properties file, YML file, form starters. Okay, that we discussed in the Spring Boot. And we completed our discussion related to Spring Data JPA. Spring Data JPA that we have used to communicate with the database and to perform the operations. Okay, guys. So here, Spring Data JPA. In the Spring Data JPA, I have covered these concepts. So how to work with the Data JPA to perform our database operations. I have completed these concepts in the Data JPA. So with this, we are done with our 3 modules here: core module, boot, and Data JPA. The next we need to start Spring Web MVC module. The next one, we are going to start Spring Web MVC module. Okay, guys, a small announcement before going to start the Spring Web MVC module. Guys, next 2 to 3 days, I will not be able to take the classes because my mother is having a surgery. So I'm going to hospital. So next 2 to 3 days, I need to stay there. So I can't take the class. I will update in the group when our next session is going to happen. So you will also get some breathing space to do the practice of the Spring Data JPA. We need to start the Spring Web MVC. I will give you update day after tomorrow when our next class will be available. I think 3 to 4 days, I may not be able to take the classes, most probably. So till this 25th and 26th, I may not be able to take the classes. So because I need to stay there in the hospital and I need to drop her at my hometown and I need to come back to Hyderabad. Tomorrow I'm going to my hometown. There I will take care of that hospital work and all, and I will come back to Hyderabad in 3-4 days of time. So before 2 days, I'm going to update whenever next class is going to happen. Is that fine for everyone? You will also get 3 to 4 days of time to do the practice of this Data JPA. And I will give you 2 to 3 videos just for reference purpose about the Spring Web MVC. What is the Spring Web MVC? What is the architecture of the Spring Web MVC? How to develop the first application by using Web MVC. Those videos are already there in our YouTube. Anyhow, I'm going to cover that in the class also. But in this gap, you can go through those videos so that when I explain in the class, you will get more clarity on that area. I will be sharing those videos in the group today. And so that you can, by the time I'm going to start the next session, you will be able to develop your first application by using Spring Web MVC if you go through those videos. In the class also, I'm going to explain those concepts once again so that you will get more clarity and you can ask more questions also. Is that clear for everyone? Good. Thank you, guys. So I will update in the group when our next session is going to happen. I hope next to 3 days, the session may not happen. Saturday, If possible, Friday, Saturday, if possible, I will take the class. I will inform in the group when the class is going to happen. One day advance, I will inform in the group when the next session is going to happen. Okay. So it's not for only this class. All my classes will be cancelled from tomorrow. I mean, I will not be available to take the classes for next 2 to 3 days of time. I will give update in the group when the next class is going to happen. Okay. Cool, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.